A school of thought classifies Uttamadhikari into Uttama, Kanishta, Uttamaja, Uttama. Can only Uttama deliver the disciple. So, of course, what is the definition of Uttama? In my definition here, the Uttama was a Vaidhi Bhakta in sadhana. So, I don't think that's the intention of this question here. This question means the person in the highest level of prema can only deliver a person. Yes and no. Definitely the highest person can deliver to the highest prema. But it may not be instantaneous, it may be 20 lifetimes later. Because so many devotees are here, and did they get prema even they had the highest devotees? No. They may take them several lifetimes. So when you say only the Uttam can deliver the disciple, yes and no, because you may have to get another guru next lifetime, another guru the next lifetime, another guru the next lifetime in order to get to the level. And when you're qualified, then the Uttama can lead you to the highest stage. So it may not be even worthwhile for the Uttama to give you the mercy at this stage, because you can't take advantage of that mercy at this time. Whereas someone simply tells you to chant, a Kanishta can tell you to chant Hare Krishna. You take advantage of this lifetime, and then 20 lifetimes later you get the association with Uttama, and then you can advance. So not necessary that you have to have the Uttama, because you don't expect to get the highest perfection in this lifetime anyway. And we don't see it happening in most cases. Hanuman was doing service to Lord Rama. He was following Raghunaga. Who asked this question, Raghunaga?
I did.
Who can give the answer? Is Hanuman following Raghunaga?
No.
No. Why?
I did.
Yeah.
Vishnu.
So somebody just doesn't understand.
You understand?
Prahlada Maharaj, or Vaidhi or Raghunaga. Who's asking these questions? Looks like they didn't understand that whole lecture at all. Is Prahlada Raghunaga Bhakta? No. Why? He's a Vishnu worshipper, or Narasimha worshipper, or whatever. What about Daivi Varnashram devotees try to establish in our society? Yes. First we have to define what Daivi Varnashram is. Is it Bhakti or is it Varnashram? I don't know. Huh? Whatever. Anyway. In the beginning you mentioned that Vaidhi Bhakti could be with any form of the Lord, the showing different forms of the Lord, the Buddha also. You just go for Vaidhi Bhakti for look. Yeah, technically there would be. Though with the Shaktivesh avatar forms, we put less prominence on that, like Buddha and Kalki and Parsuram or Prithu, and even other who are not Shaktivesh, like Vasudev or Kapila. We don't worship them so much. Though theoretically, yes, these forms have special powers and whatever, and we could develop bhakti through them also. But more common, of course, is the prominent forms of the Lord, like Vishnu or Narasimha or Rama or Krishna. Kindly enlighten on Prabhupada's statement, bhakti is never casual, and bhakti is caused by bhakti only. Casual meaning? Causal? Oh, is never caused. Causal. Wrong spelling. Oh, anyway, yeah, bhakti is not caused by karma, because karma is material. So how can something spiritual arise from something material? It is not caused by varnashram, because varnashram also is material. It's only up to sattva gun. Or by jnana, which is also sattva gun, or yoga, which is also sattva gun. It's not caused by anything in the material world. So what is it caused by? Krishna, obviously. Yeah? So in other words, everything comes from Krishna. Bhakti comes from Krishna, or bhakti comes from bhakti, which comes from Krishna. That's all. So it may come through a devotee, but that bhakti ultimately comes from Krishna, and from a devotee it comes to a devotee. So we say bhakti arises by sadhu sangha, mercy of devotees. Mercy of the devotees is actually the mercy of Krishna.
Can't we say like this? Vaidhi sadhana is mostly using the senses, which is material, But when it gets mature, the Baba manifested in the devotee. In the same way, somebody who is doing Varnashram, which is material, can get that bhakti, which is spiritual. Like we do devotional service for Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, using the senses which are material.
Yeah.
But
Raghunav also.
yeah, but we get the bhava which is spiritual.
Yeah.
So in the same way, if we practice Varnashram Dharma, then it is material, then one gets bhakti which is spiritual, which can give life.
Well, in some cases you can get to a slight cause. It said that Varnashram can be a slight cause of Vaidhi Bhakti, in the sense that if the Vaidhi Bhakti includes worship of the Lord as a minor factor, that minor factor can later grow and be a cause for developing Bhakti. But the other aspects, following your rules of Varna or your ashrama rules explicitly, of just renouncing as a sannyasi or as a grihasta, following your household rules of raising a family, or vanaprastha of eating the roots in the forest, that doesn't actually produce bhakti in itself. It only creates detachment from the material world or whatever, or regulates your senses. And creates raises you to sattva gun. So that aspect of Varnashram does not cause bhakti as such. And now in Varnashram you should also worship the Lord, but then again in normal Varnashram you also worship devatas. So then you're going to have to start distinguishing and coming up with the right siddhanta, otherwise you commit aparad. So if you're lucky and you don't commit aparad, then we can say that worship of Vishnu and you understand his position, then that could be a cause of bhakti. It become a major thing, and then it'd be bhakti actually later on. But otherwise it may just turn into aparad also if you worship devatas also.
Is there a possibility of shifting from Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti to
Yeah. Mercy of Raghunaga Bhaktas. Or if you develop that greed at a certain point.
Maharaj, is it necessary to follow all the others, primary and secondary others in Vaidhi Bhakti?
No. As I said, people attain by prominently following one. Examples were given.
Persistently related to Krishna.
Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha. Nirbandha.
Persistently related. That object has to be only.
Yeah. In other words, we don't sometimes use and sometimes use materially for ourselves. For going back to Godhead, one must become 100% pure. So unless he is initiated by a pure devotee who is 100% pure, how can the disciple be delivered? Well, as I said, that means prema can only, everyone has to have a prem bhakta disciple, which is very rare in the world, and the prem bhaktas don't preach. So they'll have a contradiction, because most of the preachers will be madhyamas. Not in this madhyama term, but another madhyama in Bhagavatam, that term, that they distinguish between the different types of devotees, etc. So most people will be in that category. So yes, to attain the highest stage, then one will need a higher type of devotee, in most cases, and sometimes we get the mercy of Krishna. But if one is starting at the very beginning, Kanishta stage, it may not be necessary to have a prem bhakta tell you to chant Hare Krishna. Anyone could do that. In order to lead you into bhava, perhaps, from asakti, then maybe you need the bhava bhakta or the prem bhakta to do that. But not necessary just to tell you to chant Hare Krishna or tell you to read Bhagavad Gita every day. Those instructions anyone can give.
The nectar of instruction, one has to look for Uttama Vigari skills, how we can understand what
Yeah, well, which Uttama though? Yeah, well, is it Uttama and Vaidhi Bhakti or what? Yeah, so I don't know. And the other way of saying, yes, in order, Uttama, if you want Uttama Bhakti, yes, you would have to get an Uttama Adhikari. But if you're at a very low stage, then even a Madhyama is sufficient, or even a Kanishta can tell you so many things which will help you in your advancement. So we're going to exclude everybody except the Prem Bhakta, then the Prem Bhakta has to go around the world and tell everybody to chant Hare Krishna. And nobody else can do that. And what's the use of that? That doesn't make any sense either, does it? Because that means nobody can preach. Nobody can preach except the Uttamadhikari on the highest level of prema. But he's not going to do that, because he is completely detached from the material world and sees the demons and devotees as the same, and he doesn't see the necessity of preaching. So then that doesn't make any sense either.
I think Prabhupada mentions.
So it can mean that Uttamadhikari is one who got completely convinced of Shastra and who can convince others to...
That can be one meaning of, yeah. It is in Vaidhi Bhakti. He's a sadhana bhakta,
But when Prabhupada mentions.
who has knowledge and deep faith and can use logic properly and convince others. That's one way of saying it. I don't know. There's other meaning, of course, is only the Uttamadhikari, but then that leaves us open to a lot of problems.
But when Prabhupada mentions that Uttamadhikari comes down to the platform Madhyamadhikari to preach.
May, but generally doesn't. The cases we'll see, like say Narada Muni or something, like he's a Shaktivash avatar, of course. But most of one is very rare. So it's very rare you're going to have an Uttamadhikari. So what do the people do in the meantime? In other words, if you say Prabhupada to initiate everybody in the world and preach, and then he only lives for so many years, then what happens to other people? And then there's nobody can be around or whatever. Then no preaching for the rest of the time.
They argue that his teachings are pure and books are there.
That's another thing. But then we're talking about Uttamadhikaris, aren't we? Then in that sense, Krishna's teachings are there in Bhagavad Gita, and Vishnu Thakur's teachings are there also, so we don't need any gurus at all. But we're talking about a living guru, I think, now. If we're talking about that, okay, fine, yeah, we take the teachings also. But then we're also talking about people, people who are actually preaching in the material world at this particular moment.
Can a disciple think that his guru is a pure devotee or Uttamadhikari? Can it feel?
Well, but we also have to be practical. And as I said, it's a very rare stage. Very, very rare stage. And it's also can be judged by the symptoms. So they said the Prem Bhakta actually cannot even describe him. He doesn't follow the rules of society at all. And he's completely contrary or contradictory or whatever. He cannot predict what he will do. So that type of person is very rare also. Most persons probably wouldn't want him as a guru even. Because he will not act according to the standards that we think a guru should follow. When do we have the choice of engaging in the Madhurya Dasya Sakya Vatsaya? Do we have the choice after reaching the Bhava stage? Well, according to what I explained here, you will have to choose before that in the sadhana stage, because only through the sadhana you get to the Bhava stage.
The one when chooses initially to practice certain type of Radhakuna Mantra, and they reach, and these both are not same. What they reach is not the same which they start practicing. So Siddha Deva.
Oh, yeah, so you have what is called a Siddha Deha. You choose a particular form, and particularly in the Siddha Pranali, they'll give you a name. There's certain manjari in the Radha's group, and you have a certain service, certain complexion, certain color of dress, etc., and a certain service. And then you meditate on that form, serving Radha and Krishna in that form. So, in that stage, it's not spiritual as such, because we're not even a bhava stage where you can perceive the Lord with your spiritual body. So it's only a conception at that stage, a sadhana. In bhava stage, yes, it becomes a spiritual body then. And it becomes complete in prema. But now it's only a sadhana, so it's like a ambas of a body, a spiritual body in one sense.
That will be mostly like the form which they meditate on the practicing period. The one they get in the bhava stage.
Well, that's assumed to be the thing. Yeah, you have a certain body, and that becomes your body, actual body in bhava stage. Yeah. that obviously you're not going to get a different body. Suddenly you're practicing one thing, you get a different, suddenly you end up with a different service after practicing one particular service and relationship, you end up with something else. No, you just naturally lead into it. So that's why I said it's a quicker way of, it speeds up the process because it helps you develop your spiritual body by meditating on it. But even if you don't do that on a particular body, you would get a body because like the people doing Vaidhi Bhakti don't do this Siddha practice, but they get a spiritual body in the spiritual world anyway with 4 arms and they serve Vishnu or whatever. So they get a spiritual body without that practice, so it can be done. But this is a way of speeding up the practice in Raganuga. Is there any chance to those who are in Prem stage is not how living entity come from a spiritual order?
All Tom say that Maharaj, is there any chance of all for those who are in the prema stage?
No.
If not, our living entity came from spiritual world.
Same old question.
Same.
No, once you attain prema, then you don't come back. That's all. So if you fall, you must fall from somewhere else, not from prema. Sometimes there might be some new person taking out devotional service in ISKCON. May have been already Bhava or Prem Bhakta in his previous. Then he would have been Prema in this lifetime also. I don't know. Better for us to treat everyone respectfully. Yeah. So we should respect, yeah, we don't know who's in Bhava or Prema. If you meet, Bamsidas Babaji, you may think he's a bum on the street. So you have to be careful because most people would not think he was a great devotee. He was living in very strange circumstances and didn't dress properly, didn't look clean, didn't have nice clothing, smoked ganja or something, I don't know, he smoked a pipe or something. So you may think he's not a devotee at all. So yes, we have to be very careful. Not to commit aparadha against any living entity.
One of the angas of bhakti is following Ekadasi, as you read it today.
Yeah.
Sometimes many devotees ask how important is to follow this particular Bhima Ekadasi. Because some say if you don't follow them.
Well, as I said, then we follow at least minimum standards. We don't take any grains and whatever. Sri Vaishnavas, they just don't take any boiled rice, I think, something like that, whatever.
They fry the grains. They
break the rice. So ours is a little higher than that. And if you want to do more, you can follow more. Yes, no water, no whatever. Or if you can stop breathing also.
Like Dhruva.
Prahlad, Dhruva didn't stop breathing. He didn't breathe for ages also.
Maharaj, in Vedic Bhakti, performance of one anga, there are names and devotees given to perfected a particular anga.
Yeah.
We see that some of them are little simple.
Yeah. Like, of course, Lakshmi is there also and whatever. Yeah. So those are just given as examples, but obviously of persons with a dominant type of sadhana, I suppose. But they actually, some of them are not sadhakas at all. Prithu also is a Shaktivesh avatar.
Maharaj, those devotees who have already taken initiation in ISKCON, can we say that they have already chosen rasa like Madhurya, or they still have choice?
No, it's generally accepted that most people would be in the Madhurya Bhava, but it's not absolute because even in Lord Chaitanya's Leela we had varieties of people. Some were in Sakya Rasa, some were in Dasya, some were in even a devotee of Hanuman. So everybody was not our devotee of Rama, sorry. So not everybody will be, but the majority would generally go towards Madhurya Bhava of some sort.
What happens that if a devotee stays in a corner of a world where he is not able to meet any guru and is not able to take initiation, he dies?
Then you just practice and Krishna, leave it up to Krishna, that's all. Each jiva has a permanent relationship with the Lord. Is Raganuga developed? Is Raganuga developed the same as his relation?
It's already determined or we have to choose?
Well, we don't know.
The jiva's relationship with the Lord already.
Well, we don't know that. Let's say it become manifest when we practice Raganuga, and then it will manifest. We call that permanent or not, we don't know. Because it descends from the spiritual world anyway. It's permanent in one sense because it's in the spiritual world already. But when we practice that particular bhava, then it manifests in the heart in bhava stage. That's all.
I mentioned Vallabhacharyas, they have
But whether it's permanently inside you already, that's questionable. Because if it were there, it would have manifested already.
You mentioned Vallabhas, they have Vatsalya more. Like sometimes we criticize NISKCON not to worship Laddu Gopal. We sell Laddu Gopal deities. Many devotees even here have Laddu Gopal in the house. That's not in our sampradaya. Like I've seen some sannyasis criticizing.
Well, as I said, our main efforts are towards the Madhurya Bhava. So that's why we worship Radha Krishna as our main deity, and others are secondary. As I said, there may be exceptions to the rule because some people may have that Vatsalya Bhava or Sakya Bhava or anything else. Krishna Bhava and Rama is Sakya Bhava actually. So technically, we shouldn't have that also in that case. But it's just a matter of emphasis. That's all. The main one is the Madhurya Bhava as our Siddhanta, but the other bhavas are not rejected. They're also part of Raganuga even.
What about worshipping Narasimha and Jagannath? They are in Purushottam Dham, in Vaikuntha or Golok? Only Hara?
Well, Nrsimhadev is definitely Aishvarya Bhava. Jagannath is a little bit of a mixture. Because he also represents, of course, Rupalamba Bhava and separation, so he's a mixture. Somewhat Aishvarya is also there because he's treated in the worship in Puri, at least he's treated as in the royal way. But at the same time, he has this mixture of Madhurya Rasa and whatever.
So won't it be confusing for a devotee to have so many sets of devotees, each one having a different relationship? He's not able to focus on Radha Krishna. If you have many sets of devotees in the temple, deities in the temple, like Radha Krishna and Jagannath Baldev and Narasimha.
Yeah, that's why generally we shouldn't have many deities. We should have Radha Krishna basically.
This can be for the newcomers who can develop slowly there.
And we worship Lord Chaitanya because he is our approach to Radha Krishna. That's why we have him.
Maharaj, when Bhanu Swami Maharaj gave the initiation to Narottam Datta, that time he explained his own identity, like Narottam was in some Manjari and his name and there he is explaining that name on Manjari. And when we are getting initiation through the Guru, he may explain us.
We can't tell you Manjari.
That's in Raganuga.
Yeah, Vaidhi. Srisham.